If I were to choose a single book from the millions in the world to explain human mankind, it would be Yuval Noah Harari's groundbreaking book Sapiens. In modern times, there is probably no book more famous than this one. It is an absolute killer and bestseller. Harari, the author of this book, is a genius. He conducted such amazing research for this book that it leaves one speechless. Sapiens single-handedly turned Harari into a superstar in the world of literature. In today's video, I will tell you the story of humanity that you absolutely cannot miss because this story is about you. Sapiens. Friends, one question that must come to your mind is, when and where did humans first appear on Earth? When and where did our journey begin? So, the first humans began to evolve around 2.5 million years ago in East Africa, and as you can see, we were more or less like monkeys or gorillas. Who would have thought that this gorilla-like creature would change the world forever over millions of years? But there's a twist here, and it's very interesting. Observe the humans around you today. Some are white, some are black, some are tall, some are short, some speak in English, some in Hindi, some in Urdu, some in German, Spanish, and French. The way people dress varies depending on their country, but no matter how different we may seem, we are all the same species, called Homo sapiens. Homo is the Latin word for man, and sapiens means wise. Hence, Homo sapiens means wise man. But around 500 years ago, the Earth was home to not one, but 6 different types of humans. Who were they? Among them was Homo erectus, or upright man, who spread across the entire continent of Asia. Their story began about 2 million years ago, and they were the first to start using fire and created tools for hunting. Next, there were the Homo floresiensis, also known as Flores man, or the Hobbit. They lived on the island of Flores in Indonesia between 800,000 to 50,000 years ago. They were a short species with a maximum height of about 1 meter and weighing around 25 kilograms. Their story started and ended on that island. Then came Homo luzonensis, who lived on the island of Luzon in the Philippines. They survived from around 700,000 years ago to about 50,000 years ago. After them, we had the Homo neanderthalensis, Neanderthals, who lived in Europe and Western Asia. Their survival period began around 300,000 years ago. Neanderthals had larger brains and were strong enough to live in harsh climates. Next were the Homo denisova, who lived in Siberia, also around 300,000 years ago. Finally, the Homo sapiens appeared, which are the only human species still living today. The story of Homo sapiens began around 300,000 years ago, and unlike the others, it is still ongoing. But why did only Homo sapiens survive? There are 2 conflicting theories. The interbreeding theory suggests that Homo sapiens slowly started mating with other human species, especially Neanderthals, and eventually, these distinct species merged into one. Evidence for this is seen in the DNA of modern Europeans, which contains 1 to 4% Neanderthal DNA. The replacement theory suggests that Homo sapiens were mentally stronger and more intelligent than other human species, with better skills. Over time, they either defeated the other species or drove them out. However, the debate is still ongoing. One thing is certain, something happened that helped humans advance, and we'll discuss it further. The existence of Homo sapiens was established about 300,000 years ago, but they began to evolve significantly only around 150,000 years ago. Before that, they were confined to East Africa, with no tools, equipment, or even an advanced intellect. At that time, Homo sapiens tried to migrate north, but they were defeated by Neanderthals, who were much stronger physically. They retreated back to Africa. However, about 70,000 years ago, something remarkable happened. Homo sapiens suddenly began achieving incredible accomplishments. They started making advanced tools like bows, arrows, boats, oil lamps, and various other tools. Their communities grew stronger, and trade networks began to develop. This time, when they left Africa, they didn't look back. They defeated Neanderthals and, over time, wiped out the other human species. But what was it that enabled Homo sapiens to outpace the other species? The reason was a revolutionary leap known as the cognitive revolution. Due to a genetic mutation, the wiring of their brains began to change, which improved their thinking, understanding, and learning abilities. This mental power gave humans a unique superpower, the ability to communicate through language. Language became a powerful tool for human progress. It allowed people to send information, communicate, form communities, cooperate, and most importantly, tell stories. Harari argues that the ability to tell stories is the key to human domination. Stories are how we create shared myths, and it is these shared myths that bond societies together. Harari suggests that the reason humans could dominate the world is that they know how to tell stories. Most of our stories are born from our imagination, and the main character in these stories is often a god, someone above us, in charge of everything. Harari calls these common myths. According to him, these myths are what have kept different cultures together. But why did humans need to create stories about God and religion? Harari provides a logical answer. Humans communicate and gossip, but there is a limitation to this. On average, a person can only maintain a connection with about 150 people. This magic number is the limit of our social networks. Yet humans have managed to organize and collaborate with millions of people. How? Through fictional myths, stories. These stories created the foundation for large cooperative societies. Empires, nations, religions, and systems like justice and organizations all exist because of stories. These shared myths allow cooperation on a large scale, even with strangers. In academic terms, these stories are called fiction or social constructs or imagined realities. And you know what? Time has shown that imagined realities are not lies. Today we live in a world with dual realities, one physical, based on our senses, and another that we believe in, though we have never seen it. Ideas like God, nations, and even systems like capitalism are based on these imagined realities. This is why people are willing to fight, die, and kill for their beliefs or countries. They believe in these imagined realities, and they become their greatest motivators. That's the central idea in Harari's Sapiens, the power of stories, of myths, and how they shape human society. The book explains how these cognitive, agricultural, and scientific revolutions have shaped our past, and how they continue to shape our future.